welcome to another Celtics Talk Radio video chat. You can join us by submitting your comments under our chat room. You can join us, ask questions whenever you are. We are covering draft and the Celtics trades and the changes in the roster. What is new? The Celtics drafted from the position 45th French guy. I think that he's guard Juan Begarin, and he is most likely Begarin is most likely to be sent and stashed back to Europe. Also, two trades have been made. First of all, we traded away Tristan Thompson to Atlanta, and we received Bruno Fernando and Chris Dunn alongside with a couple of other details. And the biggest trade came after that. So our president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens, is making moves. The Celtics acquired Josh Richardson from the Mavericks. The former Heat Sixer Maverick will be absorbed by remainder of Gordon Hayward traded player exception. So after dealing Tristan Thompson in three teams trade and receiving Chris Dunn, president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens wasn't ready for the weekend just yet. Shams Charania said that the Celtics acquired Josh Richardson. Richardson had 11.6 million player option for next season that he'll be pick up the next season. And Keith Smith pointing out the terms of the deal, because the deal is being completed before the official start of next year, and Richardson's salary will fit into the remainder of the Gordon Hayward TPE. So remainder of the Gordon Hayward traded player exception that is left from Evan Fournier trade is used to acquire Josh Richardson. So by Gordon Hayward TPE, we acquired Josh Richardson and Evan Fournier. The chances after this roster construction, the chances to acquire to re-sign Evan Fournier are minimum. So according to the Athletics' John Holliner, the Celtics dealings today could signal plan B in terms of re-signing Evan Fournier. There have been several reports that the new deal for the Celtics could be 14-16 millions, but the chances are slim to be performed this way. And another quick information that Moses Brown is included to the deal for Josh Richardson and sent to Dallas. Previous reports indicated that either Brown or most likely Brown or protected pick is going to Dallas. So Shams Charania, the Boston traded from Athletics said Boston traded Moses Brown to Dallas Mavericks in the Josh Richardson trade. Brown is promising young man. Last night, the Athletic Jared Weiss was the first to report that the Celtics and Mavericks were going to be back and forth on what to include to complete the trade. Richardson into TPE was confirmed, but Boston had to send back something. Now we know Moses Brown, and the move depleted Boston depth because we traded away Tristan Thompson. Now we are left with Al Horford, Robert Williams, Bruno Fernando, and Grant Williams. Boston is clearly retooling. Kind of sum it up. After all those changes, and by the way, we signed the two-way deal, Sam Hussier from Florida, if I'm correct, undrafted forward Sam Hussier, two-way guy. So we are point guard Smart and Dunn. Reports are that we want Patty Mills, but Patty Mills is also wanted by Lakers and the others, so we will see. On the point guard, we have Smart, Dunn, and hoping for Mills or somebody else. Shooting guard Brown, Naismith, Pritchard, Edwards. Small forward Richardson, Langford, Ojule. power forward, Tatum, Grant Williams, and Parker. We have team option on Parker, if I'm correct. And centers, Horford, Robert Williams, Bruno Fernando. And the two-way guy, Sam Husseir. And plus that Begarin guy that is going to be stashed to Europe. More moves to come. So changes, and changes. I'm going to give the word to my guy, Mr. Kevin Dixon. Kevin, what do you say about the changes?
Kind of knew Tristan was going out of there because of the rumors of him spreading bad stuff about the locker room. I think that probably sealed his fate as far as him staying in Boston. So I think he knew that his time was limited there. I'm kind of puzzled with the Moses Brown trade because we never got a chance to see what this kid could do. And with the situation with Time Lord and his situation of being injured all the time, I just don't understand why you let him walk. I mean, I wonder, did they have a conversation about Taco? You know what I'm saying? If they could get rid of him. Because I think Moses probably would have been a good rim protector as well. So I'm kind of confused on that right there. I would like to see Fournier come back, but they're saying the price is too high. Even the situation with Patty Mills. Boston right now is in the middle of the road as far as being a contender and not being in the playoffs. If we look at what happened last year, a lot of guys probably don't have a lot of confidence in this team right now, especially after you got your coach, your GM left, and then your coach became your GM, and now you have a new coach. Now, even though you have a new coach, he has some connections through the league, and I think that's why Patty Mills' name had been brought up because of him being down in San Antonio. But if you're looking to win right now, I don't think Boston's your destination. They still have a lot of work to do. Still got some question marks that's going on. I still don't think they're done just yet doing whatever they're doing. Free agency wise, they got a little bit of money, but I don't feel too good with the situation with Marcus Smart. I think that there's a possibility he might end up leaving to get somebody else that's a high profile scorer maybe, and they worry about defense later on. And I think that's just my thought process. The draft, I kind of scratched my head on the kid they drafted. As soon as they said his name, I went and Googled him. I watched him play. He got wingspan of like 7'6". I mean, he got wingspan of like 7 foot, I think they said. So he plays pretty good defense, but offensively he struggles with the ball. When he's away from the ball, he stands a lot. So I don't know what Brad sees in him, because you already have a guard already over there in Europe stashed away. So I didn't understand why you wouldn't got another guard. I'm really scratching my head at some of the moves that the Celtics are making. With Danny Ainge, we could pretty much say, okay, we know where he's going and what he's going to do. But because of Brad's there now, it's like, let's wait and see what happens here. But for the most part, I don't, it's, if they're leaning on Jalen and Jason to carry this team, then we're going to be in for a rude awakening, because without that third scorer, it's not going to happen. We need somebody else to score. And I'm not saying we need a point guard to score. We need a point guard that can facilitate the ball, to give those guys to be in a position to score the basket. But we definitely need somebody else in it that can score the ball. I'm hoping that Jason Tatum's over in Tokyo, rubbing the elbows with somebody over on that team that can make us better than what we are right now. So that's my take on what's going on with the team right now.
Daniel, I will bring my.
Well, my initial thoughts in this case is that obviously it's good to see that we're getting a little bit more experience with some of these players that Brad Stevens as the new GM is bringing in. I'm glad to see that it's not a bunch of rookies, that he's bringing in at this point. But I think more importantly, it's the trade exceptions that he's basically getting in this case. A lot of the trade exceptions that we're seeing these players come in this case, were set to expire over this past weekend. And of course, if he didn't use them, he was going to lose them. That was pretty much the main thing in this case. Perfect example in this situation was the Chris Dunn deal, which of course he put him into the Eanes Cantor trade, and of course that would if you're watching us, you can read it right there in the right there on the screen. He put him into the Cantor trade in this situation, and by doing that, in this case, Tristan Thompson's salary went out, and that gave us another $9.2 million trade exception in exchange, which now he can use that over the next full year. So whether he uses it in free agency or he uses it for a trade later on this season or uses it next season, and after the this season is over in the off season next year, it comes back, to be a benefit. So of course we've heard that the Celtics are interested in several interesting names, whether it be Patty Mills. I've heard they're interested in Avery Bradley in this case. You got a shot where some of these guys could become available to you, because obviously not only could you use these, trade exceptions for trades, but you could also use those in free agency itself by basically allowing these guys to sign, just outright by using these things, compared to a team that didn't have, any cap space whatsoever. So I gotta admit, for the first, few weeks, I gotta give Brad Stevens credit. Now, of course, we all know that Danny Ainge, is still there, even though he's not the GM. At least this first offseason, he was going to be there basically helping Brad Stevens kind of learn the ropes and all of that. But I'm sure it's Brad Stevens who's making the main decisions at this point. And if this is what Brad Stevens is really going to be doing in terms of, being able to somehow find a way to save the trade exceptions like that, maybe in the future he can build something a little bit bigger when it is time to really strike, then I think you can look forward to it. But I'm glad to see that it isn't a bunch of rookies and first-year and second-year players he's aiming for. He's aiming for guys who are experienced.
Okay, guys. Listen, our Andrew that is not there, he made really great points. I'm going to read his stuff because he's not there, about two subjects that are very, very important and crucial for our discussions. And I think that everybody else except us just misregarding that, and they are trying to spin positively, Okay, first is why this Andrew, our fourth member article, why ownership will limit the Celtics. We are into the off season, and I can already see the same trend that we saw for years playing out. Once again, Boston is shopping in the bargain basement, making bargain basement deals to bring in oft injured players or the players that are on the down swing, while passing up more expensive options that are on the upswing. You cannot build a contender and winner without spending. Barring LeBron-led teams, no one has won the title without being the luxury tax territory. The Celtics paid like 15 million 2010 tax and the Bucks paid 143 millions in salaries this year. The Raptors 2019 137 millions. Warriors were 145 millions in salaries. The Boston right now around 124 millions. That means that we are every year roughly around 18 millions below the average and average championship team every year. That's a huge sum. It's even bigger when you consider the fact that Boston will likely struggle to get 27 millions worth of play out of an aging Al Horford. Nothing against Horford, but it's hard to see he's getting to the star level. And bargain basement shopping fans might be happy to see any changes, and some may delude themselves into thinking that adding the players like Josh Richardson, who is shooting 32% for three, and he's a wing, and the Chris Dunn, a guy who barely played in the NBA due to the injuries, will somehow make us contenders. The reality is that this is bargain basement shopping. We are grabbing guys that were playing terribly or injured in the hopes that they somehow rejuvenate and get magically healthy in Boston. We are doing this because we don't want to pay the money for guys like DeLon Wright or DeLon Wright, whose career looks to be on the upswing with very solid starts last year. This is why halfway into the season, we see half of our roster on the injury report. When you get aging players, injured players, and injured aging players, it shouldn't be surprised to anyone that the players continually pop up as injured throughout the season. And who is to blame right now? Ownership is to blame. Our ownership is roundly to blame. They have been consistently trying to save the money. And what's inexplicable to me and every single fan, because Boston is big market, that they are not willing to spend money. Boston has large, huge worldwide fan base. Alongside the Lakers, the huge and largest fan base in the NBA. To lose money with franchise like the Celtics, there would be the poor financial decisions beyond the players' salaries. Simply put, this team will never be legit contenders, while ownership hobbles and makes the front office shop with bargain basement cash. Going to the Coast Co is good decision when you're meal prepared for the family. It's an awful decision to shop for the championship team. I think, guys, let's start with this. This is the essence. Okay, Danny and I have been saying, Daniel, since 2013, I think, 12, I cannot remember. Okay. So I mean, the point is that you cannot build the contender without spending money. I mean, you can, but in theory you could, but it would be the huge exception, okay? And nobody in recent history spent money. But it doesn't mean to spend money on the stupid things, okay? I mean, it doesn't mean that you must spend money on Chris Dunn or Josh Richardsons of the world and to expect to be the champion. It means to spend the money on the top tier stars or second tier stars. So I mean, the point is that this way we are going to lose Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And the fans do not understand that. Imagine if you are Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. No matter how you look at the previous season, but listen, you lost last season. If you're Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, the season of your prime practically wasted, and explanations are various, from injuries to whatever, COVID. But listen, the next season should be better. Maybe it will be better, and we hope to be better. But what if we lose the next season? And what is the definition of losing season? Losing in the second round is not good for the Celtics, okay? Eastern Conference Finals, that is some kind of achievement like we did before, but it's not top achievement as you can see. So if you lose another season or two with Ime Udoka, if we do not show Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown that we're moving in the right direction, they will leave. They will request trades. And this is the biggest problem of all. And I understand what the Celtics are doing. I will tell you, because it's obvious. We are making all the deals that are making flexibility on the roster and salary cap, not long-term deals, but the deals with the 1 or 2nd year team options that can be cut in order to maintain flexibility and to clear the room for another maximum contract in 2021, 22nd, when Bradley Beal is free. Now, Bradley Beal is another subject that I will not open right now because I think it's pipe dream, and right now it's not important at all because we are discussing the changes in the Celtics roster. So our hope is, because apparently, according to the sources, I don't know how much reliable they are, he's willing to play with Jason Tatum. I think it's positive spin for Boston, and it's good, of course, for Boston, but I don't know how much this is true. Skal said the other night on NBC Sports Boston, Bradley Beal is not going to come out flat like Anthony Davis or his agent and say, hey, I want to play for Boston and I'm not resigning anywhere else except Boston, okay? On the contrary, reports are that the Bill will stay in Washington right now, okay? So the Bill most likely will stay in Washington. Boston is hoping, again, to keep Jaylen Brown because right now there is no chance Boston to put together the package offer to Washington Wizards for Bradley Beal good enough to be considered seriously by Washington Wizards without including Jaylen Brown and possibly Marcus Smart and a couple of other pieces. So in order to keep Jaylen Brown and to add Bradley Beal, which is some kind of goal that is proclaimed by Boston Celtics media, not by me. Lonzo Ball is also in play. I heard that he's close to the Bulls, by the way. Just one moment. Our target, Lonzo Ball, if I saw, is close to sign 4 years deal, 80 million sheet with the Bulls. Our target Mills is considering Lakers. So we are considering to hope that 2022 Bradley Beal has player option 2022. They're hoping that he will stay in Washington. He will opt out of his contract 2022, and then the Boston Celtics will clear the room by a series of moves, including cutting Horford, not resigning Fournier, cutting small free agents, maybe even cutting Smart or trading away Smart to clear the room to sign Bradley Beal. That's what we are aiming. Or another prime free agent. I think that this is the pipe dream, and I really hope that I'm wrong and this constructed team to be successful, to prove me wrong. But I'm really skeptical until this policy of being cheap and operating as a small market team in Boston. Boston is big market and we're operating a small market team. I would prefer Celtics ownership group to sell the Celtics if they are not willing to make us contenders again. But I don't think it's going to happen. Kevin?
I totally agree with you, Igor, and everything you said about the Bradley Beal situation. I was just going over and looking at the 2022 free agents is coming up, and there's a slew of players that's out there that might be changing the addresses. I'm just looking from the top to the bottom. You got John Wall, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Gary Harris, Julius Randle, and the list goes on and on and on. So I guess they're going to try to make room for somebody other than maybe Kyrie Irving to come to Boston in 2022. Everything that you said, I read the same exact thing, and I think that's what they're betting on. And I think that prior to an injury or whatever, I think this does happen because I think behind the scenes they've been talking. Him and Bradley Beal and Jason and Jalen probably been talking to each other, figuring out how they can get this thing to work. Because a lot of our fans wanted him to come here now, but as you said before, you're gonna give up so much to get him, then you're right back at square one again. And even if we do get him, now we have to work on our bench at this point in time. So I think what he's trying to do now, he's trying to maneuver around to get the money right for 2022 to offer him whatever he wants to offer him, for him to come to Boston and play with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like you said, Marcus Smart will probably be gone, which we don't like. But we'll probably have a whole, come 2022, probably going to be looking at a whole different complete team from the bench to the starters probably. And I know our fans are upset about this, but again, this is what the fans wanted, because the fans always said, wait till Jason and Jalen get 26, 27 years old. We're going to be contenders at that point in time. And we've always said that, why wait? Be contenders now, win a title now, because tomorrow's never promised to nobody. You know what I'm saying? So now some fans can't get mad because they're getting exactly what they want. As far as our ownership is concerned, I think our ownership is too much involved in the day-to-day basis of what's going on with the team. I really hope that whoever the GM they get is has a strong personality and may tell them, look, back away. Let me have you hired me to be your GM. Okay, so let me do my job. And hands off as far as what he wants to do. I don't know who it's going to be. There've been several names out there that they talked about, but they haven't came up with a name yet. So hopefully somebody that can basically been there before as a GM, knows what he's doing, and he's good at selecting players through the draft, through the free agency, through the trades, the whole 9 yards. So Igor, I agree with everything you said when it comes to the Celtics and the future right now. And my thing is that, again, if the ownership doesn't want to win a title right now, and this is in the back of the mind, this is why they're not spending any money. But when you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and let's think about this whole situation. Even though we were all ready for Ainge to leave, Danny Ainge did more good than he did bad. If you really look back at what he did, he set us up. We had an interview with Kevin Durant. We won West Paul won Jerry West away from Kevin Durant playing for the Celtics. We won for Jerry West I think Kevin Durant would have been a Celtic that year. Okay, so he got us an interview with him. He got his Kyrie Irving, and it didn't work out. He got his Gordon Hayward, it didn't work out. So he got the pieces. It's just that it didn't gel the way he wanted to gel, and a lot of it had to do with the younger players feeling like they deserve the opportunity to play. When they get the opportunity to play, like in Game 7, Rozier and Jaylen Brown never showed up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you're going to sit and tell us you're ready to take on that role to be the starter, and here you have Kyrie Irving behind you. I mean, who's hurt, who's won a gold medal, who's won an NBA title. Okay, Gordon Hayward, who probably had the best shooting percentage on the team. And you're saying that you should be starting before these guys, and you get your opportunity and you don't take advantage of it, and then you go where you go and he goes where he goes. So we got to give Danny Ainge some credit for what he did. Did he do everything right? No, he didn't. But the thing about it is, you can't get mad at him for doing his job. And if he got over on you, that's not his fault, because every GM could have said no to the trades. They could have said no, and then it wouldn't have been an issue, But then the thing came out about Danny Ainge not playing fair or whatever. So he did what he had to do. He stepped down, and Brad Stevens is a guy. So again, I think with the management part of it is that they're waiting right now. And I've always said, after Gordon Hayward got hurt, I told Eagle, I said, yo, it's a wait and see now for us, because we didn't get the players that we needed to get to make that run, to make a title. But again, he set us up. He set us up to be in the title runs. You look at the Eastern Conference Finals, we was in it twice in the last 2 years. And we didn't pull through because of injuries or whatever the case may be, but that's for the game of basketball. So I do think that Bradley Beal is in play next season. If not even, I don't think it happens after All-Star break, because you can't give up that many players for one player after All-Star break and not be competitive. So you're looking at the summer of 2022 free agency that Bradley Beal might be a Celtic. The question mark is still who's going to be the point guard to facilitate the basketball to these guys, because we still I don't have any. Chris Dunn is not the guy. I don't even know why. I wish he could sit down and explain to me the situation of getting Chris Dunn in the first place. I really don't like Chris Dunn at all. Okay, and even when he got drafted, the guy was like 21 years old, so he's playing against 17 and 18-year-old guys. So he's going to look great. And when you draft him at 21, he should be already developed into the player he needed to be, and he never got to that point. Now, injuries may have played a part in it, but the Chris Dunn thing, unless they're going to sprinkle some pixie dust over him to make him better than what he was, I don't see that happening. I don't understand why they got him. Hopefully, I don't know if it's a salary dump or whatever the case may be. I'm going with Marcus and Pritchard, and if you bring Ymir over, he's get some playing time. So those are my thoughts of the direction of the team with the ownership. Again, like Igor said, if they're not ready to contend now or next year, and they're gonna sit around and wait till somebody else become a free agent to Boston, sell the team to somebody like the owners with the Clippers and Houston Rockets. Them guys spend money like it's water. They don't even. The guy in Houston doesn't even care. He's like, I'm gonna go over salary cap because I want to win. The good dude in Portland, the dude in the Clippers did the same thing. They had a good squad, but he said, "Look, I'm putting all my chips in the basket here, and let's see where it falls out." Golden State has been known for going over salary cap. You know what I'm saying? Funny thing about it is now, let's see what the Lakers do, because now you got 3 players that's making over $100 million, I think. And so now they're gonna be cap struck as well. So let's see where they go. But again, if you're in it to make a profit, then sell the team. But if you're in it to win a championship, do what you gotta do to get your team to a championship. If that means go over salary cap, then do that. It's simple as that. Just go for salary cap, and then you deal with it. These guys are millionaires. They own land. They own islands. They own all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this it might be tax write-offs. We don't know exactly where the money goes. But I'm just saying, though, spend some money, guys. All right, that's my take.
We have questions, Daniel and Igor. How are you guys? We are busy, but we will try the best to provide you informations. And Daniel is also good and busy. He will answer the question, of course. I have a question: how adding James and Westbrook worked for the Lakers, and adding Tatum, Brown, and Bill cannot be good financially? From the financial perspective, we answered already. The Lakers first are the biggest free agency market in the world. Plus, they have LeBron James. They are attractive there. How they can add 3 maximum contract guys in Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Westbrook? Because their ownership is willing to pay the tax, because they are getting 200 millions or more every season from the TV rights, and Boston doesn't. And plus, Boston's ownership is not willing to spend the huge tax for the team. If we add the 3 guys maximum contracts between 25% and 35% maximum contract, calculate yourself, okay? Mr. Ehsan Salim, yes. So 35% Tatum, Brown 25%, never mind. That's like 60%. Add another 25-30% Bradley Beal. 90% of the salary cap will be occupied with Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, and with Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, and Brown. Yes. So, how are you going to build the roster when your ownership didn't pay the tax in last 25 plus years more than 15 millions over the cap? So, do you understand that you have 10% of the cap to fulfill the 12 positions plus exceptions? Okay, you will use 3 exceptions that you have, or 4 exceptions to fulfill the 4 spots. Now you have 6 guys, okay, with 3 exceptions. So now you must add 9 guys with veteran minimum contracts, or close to veteran minimum contracts, or rookie contracts, okay? And plus, you are not desirable free agency destination. How are you going to do it? By what magic? I don't know if you guys understand that. So you cannot fulfill 9 places with rookie contracts and veteran minimum guys and expect to be the contenders. So we have like 7-8 places fulfilled with first year, second year players and veteran minimum guys and exception guys. Why? Because we must stay under apron, which is hard cap. I don't know, for example, 136 millions. Okay, if we do sign and trade, or we are going to be hard capped, or if we use the full amount of mid-level exception, we will be hard capped, and we cannot spend technically over the apron, which is like 135 or 6 millions. Right now we are 124 millions. We are over the cap, but under the luxury tax threshold. That means that sum of 12 millions to the apron, you cannot use it to sign the free agents. That means that you can use the bird rights or the exceptions to cross that line of 124 millions and to sign some of your own free agents like Evan Fournier, or to use portion of exceptions like mid-level exception, biannual exceptions, and to cross that line, but not to cross, you must not cross 136 millions. Do you understand that math calculations and gymnastics that we are doing? Lakers don't care about that. Lakers will pay 30 million tax without any problems. That's how they can sign Westbrook and James and Anthony and everybody they want, by spending money. Our ownership doesn't want to spend money. That's all. Daniel, do you want to add something?
Well, and on top of it, the other thing is you want to ask, why can the Lakers also build super teams? You also said they're a free agent destination. You think about the rumor of Carmelo possibly going over to the Lakers right now. If it was right now a debate of Carmelo coming to the Celtics versus going to the Lakers, let's say if the free agency was taking place right now and Carmelo was talking to the Celtics as we speak and then looking to talk to the Lakers tomorrow, most likely we would find out that he was telling the Celtics, okay, I'll go to you guys maybe for 3 years, $30 million. But then when he goes to the Lakers, he tells them 3 years, $15 million to play with you. That's the way it's been, you guys, for the last, few decades. Any team that comes to Boston pretty much wants you to pay double or triple what they're willing to make teams in New York, the team in Miami, or the team in Los Angeles basically pay. Because these players realize when it comes to playing for the New York Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets, the Miami Heat, and the Lakers and the Clippers, there's something else that they get by benefit to make up that extra money. LeBron, we all got to see it. He just did a movie in this situation because, of course, not only he's a mega superstar, but now he's playing in Los Angeles. If you're playing out there, that's another thing you get, which makes up the extra money that basically you would be losing if you was basically playing somewhere else in this case. So he basically will sacrifice the money to basically play for the Lakers, but he'll make it up somewhere else with the endorsements, the sponsorship, that type of situation. So you come to Boston, you know you're not really going to get it unless you're really one of those guys who really hits it up big time. So for someone like Carmelo, who we all know, yeah, your time has passed you long ago in this situation. You're closer to the end than you are the beginning of your career. You're going to basically be looking to be like Evan Fournier, who wants $18 million a season or something like that, and is really you're going to look at him and say, like, are you crazy? You really think I'm going to basically give you that type of money in this case? So that's why the Celtics really don't get any of these big stars to come to Boston much, because the Celtics got to realize, okay, if we give you that $18 million or we give you that $10 million, $15 million you want, that's going to basically limit how much we have available to fill up the rest of the roster. So we're stuck having to get guys who are first-year and second-year players because those guys only make $1.2 million or $800,000 or $500,000. So these guys, they all sacrifice that type of money to go play for those teams. You look at the names, you guys, being rumored to be interested to play for Miami right now. It's ridiculous. I'm talking Andre Drummond, Kyle Lowry. Come on. How many guys are going to be interested to run down there? And with Miami, it's a different story. For them, it's not because they got the movie stars and all that down there. It's because of the weather in this situation, So people got to also remember that. Boston, you come up here in this situation to Massachusetts, which, of course, is where I live. When you're playing during the NBA season, you got snow out there. The temperatures are cold. Players don't want that in this situation. They'd rather be somewhere where they're able to go out and really have a nice time during the days off, and Massachusetts doesn't offer that in this case. They may sacrifice it in New York because, of course, New York's only about 3 hours away, so you're still going to have to deal with that weather situation, but you're still getting the benefit of having a lot of those movie stars and all that down in New York in this case. So, yeah, I'll sacrifice the price for that type of lifestyle, but not up in Boston where you're not going to get any of that stuff in this case. And then we also know, you look at the Celtics. Are the Celtics really the number one team in Massachusetts? No. They fall behind the New England Patriots in this case. So that's why the ratings, if you put the Celtics at the same time as the Patriots, the ratings are going to plummet. Sometimes if it's the Bruins, the ratings plummet as well if the Bruins are playing a game like against the Canadians, for example. So the Celtics right now, they got to do something to really make themselves a contender before you see the ratings go up, and that means the money starts to pick up, which is why the ownership has gotten to that point, like you said, Igor, of saying, until we see you guys really beating the Brooklyns, really beating the Miamis, the Milwaukees, and the Philadelphias, and the LA Lakers to basically show us that our money is basically going to give us something back in exchange, we're not going to pay the type of money we need in terms of penalties to the NBA, knowing that we all know, at least the three of us know, where does that money go after the season is over? It goes to the teams who avoided paying the tax in this situation. So think about it, ladies and gentlemen. If we're paying the money to go over the tax just to bring Bradley Beal over here, or a Kawhi Leonard or something like that, and you still don't win, who benefits in this situation? It's teams like, let's say, the Charlotte Hornets or some of these other teams who chose not to basically pay that penalty because they saw that their team wasn't good enough when their roster, basically, when they looked at it. So Rick Rosbeck and the rest of the owners are basically in that position. But I agree with you guys. We're in a position right now where we're not going to do anything until they basically decide to basically open the checkbook. And again, we can, you guys, and that's one thing we're making clear to the fans. Nothing is holding this team back from being able to go and get any player on the free agency market in a way, or anybody in trade, if you think about it, except the ownership. Because we all know by trade, it's all about being able to send out players who make enough money to get the guys back, and of course, the other team accepting it. With Bradley Beal, many people feel all you got to do is give up Marcus Smart as the main piece for the package in this case, and you maybe get him. Others say it's got to be Jaylen Brown in this situation. But as long as the money matches in this case, you got a shot to get Bradley Beal over here. It's not like you got to pay money to get him, and it goes against your salary cap. It's only the money of the player's salary that works in this situation. So fans got to just learn that that's how it works. Only problem is the ownership doesn't want to have to pay any of the penalties because they don't feel this team is good enough yet, even with Tatum and Brown as the leaders of this team, in order to win a championship. And that's when you got to wonder, what happens if you would have kept the main stars you had a few years ago? Would they be willing to do it right now, even with those guys, in terms of Hayward, Irving, and Horford as your main three? Or would they still be basically stingy and saying, we ain't opening up that pocketbook? So I think, Igor, you're right. I'm starting to question if we have to get rid of Rick Grossbeck and the rest of them in order for this team to actually have a shot to win something.
Want to add something before. Kevin said something about Bradley Beal. Couple of things that I forgot about Bradley Beal. We explained that it is going to be really hard with this policy to build the team around Tatum, Brown, and Beal if we get Beal at all 2022 free agency, the way Boston is planning. But what could happen also that nobody's talking about, that along the way, if this situation in Boston continues, Jason Tatum and Bradley Beal can team up in another town that is not Boston, okay? Because Jason Tatum right now is established star. He's playing for USA Olympic Games. He scored like 27 the other night. I mean, nobody's denying that he's becoming one of the top stars. When the veterans stars leave the league, Jason Tatum will be probably in the prime of the stars. If not the first prime, then top 10, top 12 players for sure for decades. So he's not going to be here to watch. We failed to compete season after season after season. Brown maybe will stay in Boston in these circumstances because I think that he really loves the city and the club. But Tatum, I really am not convinced. This is the real danger of the whole situation. Kevin, want to add something about the question that Ehsan asked about Brooklyn, not Brooklyn, but Lakers, the addition of Westbrook, and how this is working in Lakers comparing to Boston?
For the this is Hassan, I think his name. I think that. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't know how long you've been a Celtic fan, but I've been a Celtic fan a long, long time. And this is not the first time this has been an issue with this Boston Celtics. Rick Fox and Brian Shaw both played for the Celtics back in the early 80s, I think, 90s, somewhere around there. And they both left Boston to go to the Lakers. And at the time that he was playing for the Celtics were contenders. They were playing as contenders at the time. They were making the playoffs and everything like that. They left to go out to LA. Brian Shaw went out there to play basketball to get a title, but Rick Fox went out there to make movies. If you think about, you look at most their sitcoms, movies that Rick Fox are in. If he had stayed in Boston, he would never got that done. So that's why he could take less money, because he's going to make movies out there. That's something that as a Celtic fan, or even as a city of Celtics of Boston, they have to compete with that right there. So it takes a special type of player to come to play for the Boston Celtics through trade, through free agency, and through the draft. One good thing is, if you guys remember, Kevin Garnett said, "I wish I'd have came here 3 years earlier," because of the atmosphere, the energy that the Celtics gave him. Because as fans, we're gonna give you your all if you give us your all. Okay, so that's something that we have always had to deal with. Now, when Bird and Mikal and those guys was playing basketball, you had maybe one or two guys that left and went somewhere else, maybe through trade or maybe through free agency, but you never saw what's going on right now. But then you were talking about a different era of basketball. So that's what made the rivalry with the Celtics and Lakers so good, because you knew that Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, and Danny Ainge and Larry Bird, them guys wasn't going anywhere unless they got traded. And same thing with the Lakers with Magic, Kareem, Worthy, and those guys. You knew that was going to be a constant battle between us two and them. But the thing about it is, what you have to realize, like Igor said and like Daniel said, that there's so many positive things to go. If you go to Miami, you ain't got to pay state tax. Okay, so that's a whole lot of money that's still in your pocket. If you go to Texas, you don't have to pay state tax. So that's a lot more money in your pocket as well. But if you go to LA, you got sunshine all year long. You got the beach, average 70 degrees, maybe. When I went out there for All-Star game a couple of times, it got down to the 50s, but it wasn't. It was like a chilling cold, but it wasn't a cold. It wasn't cold compared to and Daniel can tell you feet of snow in Boston. I've been in Boston where Thanksgiving, where the snow was 2, 3, 4, 5 feet high. You couldn't even leave your house. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that that's something the players got to deal with. That's something the players don't want to deal with. If you think about it, I'm pretty sure that most of the players that play for Boston probably don't even have a house there. They have an apartment. They have a house somewhere else. So when the season's over, they leave Boston because of the weather. And in the summertime, the weather's not that bad. But from October to March, it's pretty bad up there. So we got those things to contend with as being Celtic fan and being a player on the team. So you got to really want to be a Celtic. You really got to want to be a Celtic to want to come to Boston and play, because you know the other things that you're not going to get there that you could get somewhere else. So that's something we fight against, and I tell people all the time, when the Celtics win a title, it means more to the fans in the city of Boston than it does with LA, because LA has never. I can't remember the last center that the Los Angeles Lakers have drafted. They all came by through free agency or trade. All of them. I can't even remember the last center they ever drafted. You know what I'm saying? But all of them went out to Shaq, Dwight Howard, Anthony. All them guys went out there through trade or through free agency. None of them guys were drafted out there. They do a poor job of drafting because they know they can get free agents out there because of the weather, because of the sneaker deal, because of movies, because of the whole 9 yards, the whole thing. But the Lakers look right now. You're looking at DeRozan, Melo, looking at a couple other guys that's willing to go out to take the veteran minimum to go out there and play with the Lakers right now to make them a super team. In my personal opinion, they still don't have a point guard, so I don't think they're going to do anything unless they get a point guard out there. Schroeder opted out, so I don't know where he's going to go. He probably doesn't want to be there in LA either. So LA can get all the superstars. They can get the banana boat crew out there if they want to. minus Chris Paul, they're not going to win anything. They're not going to win anything. If Chris Paul's not their point guard, they're not winning anything. And they need a point guard and they need shooters around LeBron, and they don't have shooters. Westbrook's not a shooter. As simple as that. He's not a shooter. I'm not taking nothing away from Westbrook. I love Westbrook's game. He gives you all 100% every night on the floor, but he's not what the Lakers needed. They should have shot their wide and tried to get Kyle Lowry, and then that may have been a different story. But going back to the Celtics situation, this right here is that, again, the only way you come to Boston is through trade and through free agency. And I was going to say something about that, about Tobias Harris. I really don't understand the Tobias Harris thing. That is blowing my mind. This guy's averaging 19 points a game, almost 10 rebounds, and you want to get rid of him for what reason? I have no idea. He's not the reason why y'all lost in the playoffs. He performed. He's playing up to his potential. You know what I'm saying? But I heard that Danny Green might be going back to LA. So I don't know about that either. So, but the thing about it is, though, if you see that right there, you don't see any free agent saying, "Oh, Boston's my destination." Because right now in the East, you have Brooklyn, you have Milwaukee, you got the Philadelphia 76ers, which we don't know what they're going to end up being, but they're still going to be contenders because they got a big man. You got Miami. So you got 4 teams right now that are probably in front of us as far as any free agent wanting to come to Boston. And that's, for example, even Fournier wants $80 million, they said. And they said his price tag went up because of how he played in the Olympics. So they should have told him he couldn't play in the Olympics, then the price tag probably wouldn't have went up. He probably would have went down. But again, now he's basically price tagged himself out of Boston. And he might even go to New York because New York has the salary cap money to give him to come to New York. But is that a good fit for him in New York? That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole issue with Boston right now, is that it's not a destination for free agents. You had Isaiah Thomas in the All-Star game talk to Al Horford about coming to Boston. He said, "Yo, man, it's a great place to be." And Al Horford came to Boston. You know what I'm saying? Gordon Hayward knew Brad, so that kind of helped things out right there. Kyrie came through a trade, but if you really think about that for Al Horford, man, we really never got any top free agents to come here. It's always through trades or through getting drafted. So those are issues that we're having as an organization for the Celtics. And again, this is why you spend money, because you have those other things that you don't have, those added things that everybody else have. So you have to overpay players to come here and play. But if you're bringing in an all-star guy, then you have no problem with that. If we were to bring in Bradley Beal right now, we had to trade about 4 or 5 players. Where we gonna find the rest of the players at? Because everybody else is going somewhere else. They're going to LA, they're going to the Clippers, they're going to Miami. So how do we fill our roster up with qualified players to play with those 3 guys? You see what I'm saying? So we can't do it right now. It's better. We'll probably be better off. We'll be in a better situation in 2022. Only thing we can do is sit back and when October get here, wish the team the best of luck and go out there and do what they got to do. I think that Jaylen Brown is going to be really, really special this year. I'm looking for big things for him. I really am. He's definitely going to be. He'll make the All-Star game if he stays healthy. I just think he's a special player. I like Tatum, but I love Jaylen Brown. So hopefully that Will can get this thing together and work it out that we can play some decent basketball. Hopefully we get some defense back. We can hopefully be able to play some defense. Again, we need to address the point guard situation. I know we have Marcus Smart who led the team in assists, but we need a point guard that doesn't do what Marcus Smart does sometimes when he throws shots up there and he be praying that they go in, and Brad Stevenson look at him and like, "Oh, don't worry about it, you're good." You know what I'm saying? We don't need that right now. So hopefully we can get a point guard to come in there. So hopefully we answered your question. in reference to the Bradley Beal situation and why players don't come to Boston. And like I said again, it's been like this ever since I can remember, and I've been a fan since the 70s.
Excellent stuff, Kevin. You mentioned Dennis Schroeder. I have about Dennis Schroeder. The Kings Wizards not interested in Dennis Schroeder sign and trade. According to reports, he's asking for 100 millions from the Lakers, and they are not going to give him. The Lakers wanted to do sign and trade for Buddy Hield and Dennis Schroeder. It's just hard to find it, and the Wizards and the Kings don't want Schroeder. The Lakers would need 4 teams to do it, assets that the Kings want. Also, the Lakers do avoid the hard cap here by not acquiring a player in sign and trade. One reason that DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry were likely off the board via Zach Lowe. About Fournier situation, the Boston Celtics are reportedly unwilling to meet the asking price for Fournier. Kevin said that asking price is 80 millions, 4 years, and the source said negotiations are not looking good between the Celtics and Fournier, and talks are close to stalling. Mutual interest between Fournier and New York Knicks if the forward can't agree the deal with the Boston. That's about the Fournier. The things are not looking good on the Fournier front. Listen, guys, I mean, about our roster, I think that we discussed on the chat what we lack. We lack point guard. That's obvious. Also, when you look at the depth chart at the center, we lost Thompson and Moses Brown. Bruno Fernando, I don't think he's reliable. And I think that Robert Williams is going to miss tons of games the next season. And if Horford is hurt, we will be left with Grant Williams playing big man and Bruno Fernando. That's not ideal situation here. Also, Smart and Chris Dunn, obviously that we need another point guard, veteran minimum. We want Mills. We will see. Shooting guard Brown, okay. Naismith, Pritchard, that's okay. But I mean about the small forward thing. So we have Josh Richardson, Langford, Ojule still. Power forward Tatum, Grant Williams, Parker if we extend him. Richardson again declining. Andy wrote it. He is the power forward or small forward shooting guard. In his resume, it said that he's two-way wing or guard wing that can defend in score. But the problem is that the last 3 years, his shooting percentages are declining. 34, 33, 32% for 3. I remember in Philadelphia that Philadelphia and Brett Brown have run the strange lineup of Josh Richardson at the point guard, Simmons playing power forward, Embiid center. What's his name? The shooter, JJ Redick at 2, Richardson at 1, and Tobias Harris at 3. So Richardson was running a little offense. I think that he can be kind of secondary point guard. He's not Gordon Hayward in that area, but he's really bad shooting last year. He's not reliable scorer, and that means that he's easy to defend, okay? And I don't think that he will be a super free agency addition. I can see him, I can see him being used in the trade chip, as a trade chip. You know, along the way. If not during the season, then in the off season, Richardson can be used as a trade chip. What are you trying to say, Igor? About what? About Josh Richardson or something else? Who do you think the Celtics should target next? I think that proclaimed targets are fine. Patty Mills, Delonte Wright, we lost him, if I'm correct, or don't want to sign him. I think that Mills is okay if he wants to come here. Ball would be fine addition, of course, but hard to get, complicated via sign and trade. Again, cap gymnastics, and according to the reports, he's close to the deal with Chicago Bulls. 4 years, 80 millions with Chicago Bulls. About the Ball, who should we target? Again, we are trying to keep flexibility for the future and to jump at Bradley Beal or another big free agency name that just pops up at the market. That's what we do. I mean, some of the trades I do not understand from basketball sense. Kevin asked and Andy also asked, why did we get done? Maybe he will surprise us. Bruno Fernando also. Richardson can play, but we will see. Daniel, what do you say? Who is the next the Celtics target they should get? By the way, Daniel, do you want comment? I wish we could remove Ojule, Edwards, Waiters, Taco, Luke, because it's a waste of roster spot. I think that you could see a couple of those guys gone. I don't know, depends on our plans. Edwards can stay, Waters, Taco can go, Luke Kennard can go. Ojula, I think that he will stay for now, but we will see. Danny, what do you say?
Well, I would say this, for anybody that's watching. If we want to have a good chance of getting Bradley Beal, let's say, for next season, then getting guys who have expiring contracts after this season will be the best bet. Right now, based on the numbers that the NBA is projecting for the salary cap next season and the luxury tax, if you guys were to look at the guys we just traded for, in this case, obviously Dunn and Richardson, and add them to the roster we got right now, you only have, at this point, 3 guys slated to basically be under contract for next season, which is Tatum, Horford, and Brown. Everybody else, including Dunn and Richardson, will expire after this season. Meaning, if you was to take just Horford, Tatum, and Brown's contracts in this case, you're left with over $31 million in cap space for next summer. Of course, that means if you were to look at Bill's contract, Bill does have a player option, if I'm right, for next summer. So he could always go the route of, executing that and trying to maybe go the signing trade option to basically come this way, because obviously he would be the one with the power, and he can always tell Washington, either you signing trade to Boston and you get something, and maybe they could sign and trade you a few guys this way, or I'll just hit the open market and basically go with Boston outright in this situation and, take, let's say, $31 million by him sacrificing a few million, because he only makes about 35 right now. So he would only sacrifice $4 million to come this way outright in this case. And right there, you got your boys together in this situation. Horford, Tatum, Brown, and Beal. And then after that, you're in a situation where Brad Stevens and them could basically, at that point, still go the route of being able to use the bird rights to go after guys like Marcus Smart and this. Because then we can go over the free agency, over the tax line at that point in this case, because the tax line in this situation for next season would be, from what has been reported, $140 million in this case. So that's still, in this situation, about $25 million more than what the actual salary cap number is. So you still got a shot. But again, you guys got to consider sacrificing also a few other things. Some of these guys we got, you're going to have to be willing to let them go. One thing the three of us have learned is Celtic fans are just way too attached to certain players. When you got a good opportunity to get a legit player and you mention the name of one player or another, they do not want to get rid of them in this situation. And you two know that's the truth. We've seen it in the group so many times in this case, and you got to kind of wonder, like, my God, that guy's a superstar on his team. What in the world has this guy proven on ours in this situation that you're telling me you're not willing to give them up in this case? But that would mean one more season. You go one more season with these guys, but what does Brad Stevens do? If I'm Brad Stevens, I do not take anyone. Heck, that means you let Fournier go. You let Fournier go. Don't give him his $18 million. He wants to basically think now that somehow what he's doing in the Olympics right now is good enough to basically take $18 million. Fine. Go let somebody else in this situation go and give you that type of money in this case, because in exchange, I'll get somebody who's even better than you in this situation next summer by giving him your $18 million and a little bit more on top of it. Because obviously, if we all feel, and of course the three of us have been saying it, we're worried that if you don't basically make some sort of a championship run, or at least a finals run in the next few years, that Tatum and or Brown will leave, how bad will it look if you get Beal and still those guys walk away? Of course, that's when the three of us will be able to tell some of these fans there was no loyalty. If you could still get Bradley Beal and Tatum still walks away to go to the Lakers, for example, because that's where we have said that's the only place I think Tatum will ditch the Celtics to go because of, his love for Kobe Bryant and, growing up a Lakers fan. If he was to do that after you still get him Bradley Beal, that's a slap in the face to his best friend in this situation and to this, franchise and to this fan base. And that's when we'll be able to tell the fans, we told you so. Because again, you got to be, like you said, you guys, a special type of player to be willing to stay in this type of market. Kevin Garnett had it. Paul Pierce had it in this situation. Obviously, Ray Allen didn't have it because he walked away in this situation, despite what the issues were. So, if I'm Brad, guys who have expiring contract, you've been set up in a situation where nearly everyone is going to expire after next season, including in this situation, Marcus Smart. Do not screw it up by basically giving away a stupid contract just because you have a fantasy of somebody playing on this team, if you know that getting a specific superstar could very well cement the fact that your two guys right now will stay long term. Come on, $31 million, you guys. When have we heard the Celtics having that type of salary cap space? It's been years in this situation. So that's the way I would go about it. To me, I almost don't give a damn who you end up signing at this point, because I don't think, regardless of who you sign, you're really going to do anything this season. In this case, you just make sure you don't screw next offseason up. That's the way I feel about it.
Another comment, Igor is talking out of his mind. Yeah, definitely. I'm not having any script. Do I sound confused? I think that we here are really in the same tunes and in tune. We don't have dissonant tune, and we try to explain to you. I mean, I know, guys, that the things that we are saying here are not pleasant to hear, okay? Because we are not washing team officials' balls. We are not petting the superstars in Boston here. We are hard on them, and we are, critical towards the team. Um, but you know, we are doing that from the good reasons. We want our Celtics to be the contenders. We want our Celtics to be the best team in the NBA again, the best franchise in the history. And if you cannot see that this is not the road to glory, I cannot help you. I mean, we have been talking about you. We're not here to pet you or to wash fans' balls. If you don't like us, go watch all the programs in the world. But I have one advice for you. Make a list of the things that everybody's saying, every sports talk show, and make a list of the things that we here are saying to you for this year, for the next year. Then at the end of the next year, look how many hits do they have and how many hits do we have. We can compete with the best. We can compete with everybody else on the national TV. That's it about us. Your voice is too low. Speak with a better quality. Apologize. Kevin.
Okay. Igor, you're on point. I mean, thing about it is that now we are fans of the Celtics, but we're fans of basketball. So we just don't. I mean, we can talk to you about any team in the NBA when it comes to NBA, when it comes to basketball, because we're not just fans of the Celtics, we're fans of the NBA. And what it does, it brings a good conversation on because of the free agency that's going on, the trading, the drafting, the whole 9 yard, the buyouts, things like that. So we all are knowledgeable about that because we read. We don't just come off the cuff and say what we say. We take our time. We read what's going on, and then we analyze it. We digest it, and we give our opinions on what we have to say about the Celtics. But I'm gonna say this though. I was hoping that Rick Rubio or Delonte Wright would be coming to the Celtics, so we could get that point guard issue taken care of. And when I see Rick Rubio get traded again, first thing I'm thinking like, okay, maybe there's a possibility he could do a buyout before the season starts, go somewhere where he wants to go. And if that's the avenue that we're thinking as far as the point guard is concerned for right now, hopefully that can happen. Eagle, you talked about Ball. He's pretty much out of range for us right now. He's looking at 80 million from Chicago as well. I don't know if that's going to be a good fit for him in Chicago because I think Chicago is more of a run team. They're not a half court team, and that's where I think Ball is better as a half court facilitator than he is a whole court. If that was his brother, then I think it would be a perfect fit. But I don't know about Lonzo Ball going to Chicago. But if they're gonna give me $80 million to come to play basketball, I'm gonna take it. As simple as that. It's just that cut and dry. So, but somebody asked, what's next for us on as far as us drafting. About free agency, and basically what it is that we all three believe that we got the starting team right now, other than the point guard. Fournier. If Fournier, and what I need you guys to understand is right here. If Boston wants to give Fournier that type of money, do you think he'd be starting right now over Richardson? Because we already got Richardson. So would Fournier start over Richardson? And let's say he doesn't start, he comes off the bench. You gonna get that guy all that kind of money to come off the bench? No, he needs to be a starter. So the question is, they looked at like, okay, Richardson, Fournier, starter, non-starter, whatever the case may be. And they already got Richardson as starting right now. So that's another reason why maybe Boston wouldn't give Fournier that type of money, because they didn't look at him as a starter coming to Boston. And if you think about it, I think he would probably be a better guy come off the bench anyway, because you got that spark plug that can score. And that's why I would like, if he would have come, that's what I would like to see happen. If he does decide to change his money as far as what he wants. Now I know Waters is going. I think he opted out of his contract, so Waters not even on the team no more. I think only one still left is Edwards, out of that group. And pretty much I think Edwards will probably be done after this year. I think that a couple of guys that they brought onto summer league, I think they're gonna outshine him, so he might end up finding another place to play also. But again, all three of us, we live and die Celtics basketball. Even if it's minute to you, it's what we do. This is what we want to do. This is how we want to keep our fans involved and informed of what's going on with the Celtics. And to be perfectly honest with you, Igor is he's always been my source from way back when, even when they made the trade with Isaiah and Kyrie Irving. I called him up, and this is no lie. I was taking a bubble bath. I ain't gonna take no lie. I was taking a bubble bath, and I said to him, I said, "Yo, what's going on?" He said, "Yo, it's about to go down right now." He said, "Would you give her Jaylen Brown or that draft pick?" I said, "You give her the draft pick because you don't know what you're gonna get." So he knew. I saw it on my phone, and he told me. I said, "Yo, what's going on?" And he told me. So Igor and Daniel both know what's going on when it comes to Celtics. We all got connections. And some of the stuff we tell you, there's a lot of stuff that we know we don't talk about it, because until it becomes real, because we don't want to give you some information that doesn't happen. We try to give you as close to the perfect information as possible when it comes to the Celtics and what they're trying to do. As you guys know, free agency starts tomorrow. We don't really. I know Miles Turner's name has been brought up again. Avery Bradley's name's been brought up again. Somebody else's name had been brought up again. I can't think who it was. Patty Mills and somebody else. But I think that what we need to understand is right here. Wow, that's a jump. That helps us out tremendously, for real. Wow. Yeah, we right there. We right there. Actually, we could probably get two players for that right there. But again, what we try to do is just give you guys as much information as we possibly can to keep you abreast of what's going on with the Celtics. In the group, I see stuff out there. I'll just be laughing to myself. I'll be like, where is this coming from? Like, y'all guys get on that trade machine. Y'all be making up some trades. I'll be like, where is this coming from? You got like 4 teams and 20 different players going different places. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If you see that happening, Boston probably not. Since Danny Ainge is not there, Boston won't be involved in nothing like that. If Danny Ainge was there, he probably would be involved in a 4-team trade or something like that, because he want to get something out of it, but he's not there no more. So Brad Stevens is not going to go that route that Danny would, as far as trying to get something for the team to get better. So, like Daniel said, this year, 4th, 5th seed, I'm going to say, if everybody can stay healthy, 4th, 5th seed. Yep. I think if Miami gets Kyle Lowry, they got to be second at best. Third, excuse me.
We are projected based on the last year's results. I guess as 13th in the whole NBA. That's not real rankings. We can be 4th, for example, with a couple of additions. Daniel, do you want to explain again? You was talking about the things about the free agency situation and the salary cap that you have been saying in the upcoming years, because what you wrote on the screen, Daniel, is the perfect example of what you and I have been saying, that that the Celtics are trying to maintain flexibility for 2022 and 23rd year to get off the books as many players as it is possible, because they want to have maneuver room for Bill or other prime free agents in 2022 and 2023 free agency periods. What do you say, Daniel?
Well, like I said, the situation is basically if Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge, if Danny Ainge basically again is working with Brad at this point, as long as they don't go the route of screwing it up by signing too many guys to extended contracts this season, this summer, you're going to be in a good position to be able to go after somebody who's a big-time player next summer to join forces with Brown and Jason Tatum in this case. You know, again, we just showed you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put it up again and give you the opportunity to read it in this situation for yourself, what's projected at this point. Obviously, next summer in this situation, the NBA will give you the updated information. So those numbers in terms of the salary cap itself, the 115.7, and of course the 140 million for the luxury tax, could go up or it could go down. It all is based on what happens this year during the season with how much money, from what I understand, the NBA will make. And of course, think about it. With all these players, you know, going the route of getting vaccinated, the team's going to be playing, and you're going to have a full season in this situation, it's most likely you're going to be able to, you know, see more money made this season compared to last season, you know, so long as the COVID situation doesn't, you know, creep back up and ruin the whole thing for the NBA in this case. But if you manage to go the route of basically not screwing it up and you just keep things the way it is right now, you're in a situation where you are looking at next season the amount of $84,473,595 right now guaranteed. That number is what you subtract from that 115 million, because again, the 115 million is the salary cap space number. So think about that. 115 million, take away, let's round it off to 85 million in this case. That's $30 million, ladies and gentlemen, that you have available to spend on free agency next summer. So you will be one of those big-time players next summer available to go after almost anybody on the free agency market in this case. So the same thing we're seeing teams like, you know, the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, the Mavericks, the Thunder in this situation doing this summer, you're going to have that opportunity to do next summer. It's as simple as that. And the fact that you already have one player, that's the key. One player who's already making it known he is willing and interested to play with you here in Boston in this case. The only question is, will you make sure that you do what you got to do on your part to have that money available to offer it to him in this situation so that he can do what he has to do on his part to pretty much come this way, gives you the reason to do it in this case. That's how I feel. And the fact that you know that that one player will have a major impact on your two stars, specifically Jason Tatum, I don't know why you would actually think about doing anything else in this case. Think about that. Beal, Brown, and Tatum. You got an opportunity where you can make that happen next summer. So long as you basically just don't go signing anyone else this summer, that's going to take too much money away in this case. And then if you sign Beal to a contract that goes under the amount you got available, you are now in a position where you can still go after guys like Marcus Smart and a few others by basically getting them to be, willing to work with you and bring them back. Because again, those guys like Marcus Smart, you have his bird rights. So you can go over the tax limit which again, the tax limit would be right now $25 million over the amount you got. And let's think about it. How much do you think Marcus Smart can really look to demand, ladies and gentlemen? Think about how much. Yeah, Marcus Smart is a really good defensive player, but Marcus Smart still has a long way to go when it comes to being one of those prolific, really, really good offensive players in this case. And we, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we see how the NBA is in free agency. Unless you're one of those guys on defense who's shown you can really, put a hold on like LeBron James and all these other guys, you're not really going to make a lot of money on the defensive end. Meaning that $25 million difference between the luxury tax and the salary cap amount should be enough to bring Marcus Smart back, in my opinion. So you can find a way to easily bring Marcus Smart back next summer and still have Bill on this team with Tatum and Brown. The only thing is you got to sacrifice this season, most likely not being a contender in this case, in all likelihood, and you just can't. You're going to have to sacrifice Fournier by letting him go in this case, and you're probably not going to be able to give anybody else a long-term contract, which means a lot of the veterans are likely not going to want to sign with you, at least not at the very beginning of free agency. That's one thing both of you guys know. That I'm pretty much telling you the truth, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of the guys look for those long-term contracts at the beginning of the free agency period. Eventually, towards the middle and the end, when all those big-time spots have been taken up and guys are realizing, you know what, nobody wants me at this point and all the roster spots are being taken up, I'm better basically taking what I can get. That's when you can get a veteran player pretty much to join you for a one-year opportunity so that they can make a statement in order to prove all those teams who passed up on them wrong, and they can maybe make some money next summer. So that's what I think Brad Stevens is going to have to do. Look for somebody who maybe got passed up on last season, something like that, and just keep his eye on the big prize next summer.
Excellent stuff, Daniel. I think that we said, so we are in transitional period right now. So we have new coach, we will hire new GM, new assistant coaches, couple of new players, the same core from the last season in Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, to extend Robert Williams, Grant Williams, and Langford, and the others. Ojale is here. Is he going to be here? We don't know. I think that we will make a couple of other free agency additions. I think that we will get the point guard. Hopefully Patty Mills, maybe somebody else. Kevin mentioned Rubio. I think that Rubio agreed with some team. Was that Minnesota or Dallas? I cannot remember. But free agency is close. We will have free agency show Sunday 9th, Sunday 8, 4 p.m. Eastern. We will have great guest. And we hope that it was fun. We had 107 views. If I can see at our page, we Bleed Green Celtics Fans Forum. And by the way, Daniel, people were asking us, where are we? Why don't we explain the situation? Here it is. Here it is. We explained the best we could, by words. I'm a lazy person and don't like to type. But we explained the situation and the informations that we can right now. And 107 views, 12 comments. I hope that we will have more views. I hope that we will have more comments the next chat, and we will be here with the chat, the show Sunday, and the chat if something pops up very important for the Celtics Summer League. We will certainly have Summer League chats. That's it. Kevin, something for the end?
Now I want you guys to look at what he's putting out there. Jeff Green, Kelly Olynyk, Avery Bradley already brought back Al Horford. I guess the Celtics are rebuilding what could have been version of team now. I don't know about that, but the thing about it is though is the one that Daniel put up prior to that was Boston's interested in Rudy Gay and Jeff Green. It don't say Jeff Green and Rudy Gay's interested in Boston. It said Boston interested in them. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. They said they were interested in going to Lakers. If one of the Lakers interested in them, that's the difference. You got see what I'm saying? That's the difference. We might be interested in them, but they may be interested in going somewhere else. And we've always been a Rudy Gay. Boston always been. Danny Ainge's always been a Rudy Gay fan. I mean, he tried to trade Ray Allen for him multiple times and it fell through. I would love to see Jeff Green come back because he has that dagger in him that he just. I would love to see him back too. But if you think about this, look at all the guys that are going back to where they came from already a second time around. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Green come back. I've always loved Kelly Olynyk. I wouldn't mind him coming back either. He got some experience in the finals with Miami last year. You look at what Crawford, Crowder did. Made it to the finals 2 years in a row. Didn't win a ring, but he got the experience of being in the finals. So I don't know. I'm open to anything that's not going to mess up the money, like Daniel said, for next year. Because if we could get Bradley Beal, Marcus Smart come back on a discount price, that means we could add a third person. We could bring in another third free agent, somebody come off the bench to help us as well. And then we're in a situation where veterans are like, oh, look what Boston just did. Oh, Boston got this. Oh, maybe I should go to Boston for a year, like they do in L.A., like they do in Brooklyn. Oh, maybe I want. Oh, that's I want to go there. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that happens to us. Also, I want to say I put a post out there about where people are from. I want to tell the people in the Philippines, thank you very much for your support with the Boston Celtics. You guys are bigger. I mean, you're huge. Yeah, it was y'all. Then I think it was Massachusetts. Then it was Connecticut. Then it was all over. But man, I knew that the Philippines was a big Celtic base, being overseas before. But man, those guys are really supporting the team, and I really appreciate you guys with the page, hanging in with us, doing what we're doing. I hope you guys love what we're doing. If you like it, you want us to keep doing this, tell us. Let us know what y'all want from us, and we'll try to do the best we can to give you what you want.
Okay, Daniel, do you want to end final words?
Yeah, so again, ladies and gentlemen, it's free agency starting tomorrow. The rumors are going to really pick up in this situation, and we will try to make sure that, at least on our end, you can be guaranteed that any of the rumors we report will basically be accurate, because obviously we make sure that we follow the real Twitter accounts. Obviously, we know that a lot of Twitter accounts out there basically are false in this situation. I don't know how many people basically try to act like they're Adrian Wojnarowski in this situation by putting his picture up in this case, and people basically fall for those scams, thinking that they're just looking at the picture and they don't follow, basically make sure that they look and see that you got the blue check mark to verify it's him before you go basically taking the tweet in this situation and sharing it in this case. But you can be assured that at least us in this case, anything we put up comes from the actual real people in this situation. So obviously, keep an eye on the group in this situation. If anything, I know that tomorrow night here in Boston, they will have on NBC Sports Boston the free agency special, with Brian Scalabrine and the rest of the people who do the stuff for the Boston Celtics on the actual channel. So I'll be actually keeping an eye on that, as well as the insiders for the Celtics actually give their thoughts and report anything they're hearing in this situation. So we'll keep you up to date. And again, this is where I feel, you guys, the trade exceptions that Brad Stevens has made is probably going to be what comes into play the most in this case. As I know for a fact, from what I can remember with the NBA rules, signing free agents with those exceptions is for a 1-year deal. You can't sign any free agents for a deal that goes longer than 1 year in this situation. So if Brad Stevens is going to be able to get guys to pretty much keep that option of trying to get the big-time free agency money for next season, but wants to get guys that are veterans in this situation to have a run this season, those trade exceptions that he's been making with the deals in this case over last season with Danny Ainge and this year, just the last few weeks, those trade exceptions are going to have to be what he ends up using in order to basically make that happen, unless he decides to trade, obviously, any other guys on the actual roster we got right now. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep you informed tomorrow. We'll thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk to you Sunday. I believe it's 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We agreed basically for the Celtics Talk Radio show on blogtalkradio.com. That's when we'll actually be discussing the free agency itself. And then after that, we'll talk to you again later on this month, which is after 3 weeks of free agency itself. And hopefully there will be some big news in regards to the Celtics doing something. So until then, we'll see you Sunday afternoon.